is up, everyone? Welcome to today's video where I will show you exactly step by step how we as an agency generated over 37 million euros in sales for our clients by using Google and YouTube ads. In today's very extensive guide, I will walk you through all the steps that you need to know about Google Ads. So why Google Ads is important. I will show you the fundamentals of Google Ads, the exact campaign structure you need in every stage of your e-commerce journey. I'm going to show you the exact optimization roadmap that we use. And if you're looking into outsourcing your Google Ads, I'm going to tell you exactly what the requirements are and what you need to be on the lookout for. And additionally, if you watch until the end of the video, I'm going to give you 12 bonus tools that you can use and that we use in-house as well to skyrocket your Google Ads results within a second. So buckle up, get ready. This is going to be the most extensive guide that you ever seen, and I hope you're excited for it. So let's dive right in. Okay, so as I said, this is the Google Ads scaling map, right? So the exact step-by-step Google Ads system we use to generate 37 million euros in sales for our e-commerce clients. As I said, I'm going to first cover why Google Ads in the first place is a very important and a very essential ad platform to use. Then we're going to cover the exact fundamentals to make sure that you know exactly what you need before you even start advertising. Then I'm going to tell you about all campaign types that you need to know, and all campaign structures and budgetings, and pretty much everything you need to know about all campaigns within Google Ads. Then I'm going to show you the exact optimization roadmap that will take you from 0 to 250k euros per month and above. So literally every step there is to know, with every campaign structure, with every optimization, I'm going to walk you through every piece, right? And then I'm going to talk shortly about how important it is to be on the lookout on certain things when you look into outsourcing your Google Ads. And as I said, at the end of the video, I'm going to share 12 bonus tools on how you can become a pro. And what we will cover in those bonus tools will really make the difference between an account that runs on decent profit, decent revenue, and accounts that we scaled beyond the 250k a month mark. So let me shortly introduce Google Ads for you, right? So why is Google Ads so important? Google Ads is already a traffic source where people are already looking for your product or are looking for the solution that your product provides. So if you compare that, for example, to Meta Ads, on Google Ads, people are literally searching for what you have to provide, and on Meta Ads, you're interrupting their scrolling or dopamine hitting or whatever. So within Google Ads, we see higher conversion rates, we see higher average order value because people are in like a buy mode, right? That's the high intent traffic part of Google Ads, and that's not everything because there are tons of top of funnel and middle of funnel traffic strategies that you can use to put your account on steroids, basically. But the high intent traffic is a very important aspect of Google Ads. When using Google Ads, we have very predictable scaling because we use something called smart bidding. And smart bidding is basically an AI-powered bidding strategy within Google Ads where we can basically tell the algorithm which ROAS we want to get, or which cost per action we want to pay. When it comes to the shopping ads, that's actually one of the most important ad placements for e-commerce, obviously, because they are literally product listings inside Google and you just pay for clicks. So if you get the impression but you don't get a click, you don't pay, which is very important as well. Also, Google owns 90% of product-related search, so you should probably advertise there. If somebody's looking for your product, they will be on Google, right? And literally every 7-figure brand runs Google Ads, so you should probably too. So in general, people are talking about Google as just a search engine and just the search ads, but it's way more than that. So if we look here, for example, obviously YouTube is also from Google. They have something called the Google Display Network, which is basically millions of placements around the World Wide Web, right? Then you have Google Search, obviously. You have an app called Google Discover, mostly on Android, but also used on iPhone. Gmail is from Google. maps is from Google, and on the search engine result page, obviously, we also have the actual results of the product listings. So that's what we want to buy, right? Or that's what people want to look for, and that's where we want to advertise if people are looking for our product. Besides that, we have YouTube ads, as I said, the search engine ads here, like product listings. We have search ads. We have YouTube Shorts ads, also e-commerce focused with the products literally under the creative. And then besides that, we have some other placements like, as I said, Gmail, as we can see right here, or Google Discover, or another YouTube ad, right? So that's all Google ads. And why it works so well for e-commerce is you only pay when someone clicks when it comes to the shopping ads. You can show up when someone is already ready to buy, so you don't have to interest them in buying. They're already wanting to buy, so you just have to appear at the right time, at the right moment. You can scale profitably with ROAS-based bidding. As I said, you can literally tell the algorithm of Google, I want to achieve this ROAS, and if you set it up right, you will get that ROAS. So where you pay is you a person types in a search query, he shows purchase intent, we get an ad impression, then we get an ad click, then the landing page view, then an add to cart, and then a purchase, obviously. And this is where you pay, right? The ad click when it comes to the shopping ads. So very, very interesting. As I said, also it's used by world's leading e-commerce companies. So here we have The Ordinary, Gymshark, Manscaped, Aura, Zalando, AG1, Whoop, Bulk, Amazon. Amazon itself is even advertising on Google, right? So that made us realize how important Google Ads is for even Amazon, which is a reseller platform. So it's used by world's leading e-commerce companies, right? But here's why most people fail. They rely on a campaign type called Performance Max. And Google pushes this very heavily when people are setting up their campaigns, and Performance Max is a very powerful campaign type, don't get me wrong, but you need to use it in the right way, because otherwise you'll overspend on your own brand name, you'll just burn money and give money away to Google for free, and it looks like you're getting good results, but you aren't in reality. So that's one mistake. Mistake number 2 is they don't separate branded and non-branded traffic. Mistake number 3 is they don't optimize their product feed. Mistake number 4 is they use the wrong bidding targets or the bidding strategies. And those mistakes are the exact reason why the scaling map from today's video exists, right? So before we dive into Google Ads, let me just shortly brief why you should listen to me in the first place. So again, this is me. My name is Floris van Vleuten. I'm 26. I'm Dutch, and I'm building world's #1 Google Ads agency. I've had skin in the game for about 5 years, and I'm helping my clients to reach their goals, obviously, but I'm not on my own. This is the team of Amplifize, right? A team of Google Ads wizards, or sometimes we even say Google Ads ninjas. We are the agency with world's best remote culture, if I can say so myself. We are scaling 70 plus accounts, and now it's actually 75 or even 80 accounts across the globe. We generated over 37 million euros in sales with just Google Ads for our e-commerce clients, and we are here to deliver A+ quality to A+ clients. And we're crushing record after record together. So that's who we are, right? In terms of our results, as you can see right here, from the beginning, from 2022 until the second quarter of 2025, we have a beautiful uptrend here. But we see that we generated over 37 million euros in Google Ads, right? With a ROAS of 4.14x, which is profitable, obviously. And we spent almost 10 million in the same time frame, right? So those are pretty cool numbers. But overall numbers only say one thing, right? So I also included a screenshot from our Google Ads dashboard with all of our clients here, where we see exactly how campaigns are performing, where we see a ROAS and conversion value almost 300K, 120K, 94K, 171K, and so on, right? So those are the results that we are getting for our clients. We've helped so many brands, both in e-commerce, like e-commerce brands, D2C, and also drop shipping. That's what we do, and that's literally what we do 24/7. So that makes us pretty efficient and good at what we do. Yeah. What they are saying about us, I won't mention everything word by word, but people are calling us more than an agency, getting a bigger ROI than they expected, seeing a significant increase, 7.6 ROAS in the first couple weeks. We scale the client profitably while staying lean, which is exactly what our clients need. And you can see all those testimonials actually on our website, which is amplifizemarketing.com. So if you want to see who they are, which brands, which people, go to our website and you'll find out more. One small side note to be made here. This very extensive video is made for brands, right? So if you are a dropshipping client, you have your own dropshipping store, the strategy for Google Ads is slightly different. So if you want to know how Google Ads works for dropshipping accounts, send me a DM on Instagram with dropshipping to get more information about that. I'll send you all the resources that you need. It's basically also a scaling map like this, but it's slightly different because there are nuances to be made in dropshipping versus branded, right? Cool. So that being said, this is the introduction of the Google Ads scaling map. And again, get ready, get yourself a coffee, pause the video because we're gonna dive in deep. We're gonna cover the fundamentals, campaign structure and budgeting, optimization roadmap, and then I'll talk about outsourcing. All right, let's dive in the fundamentals to Google Ads for e-commerce, right? When it comes to your product and your website, you have to make sure that 1, you have a product market fit, and 2, you have a website that converts. What does it mean to have a product market fit? You need to look into a couple things, right? So we have the total addressable market, we have pricing, we have profits, and we have scalability. When it comes to the total addressable market, we want to look into Google Ads Keyword Planner, do our Google keyword research, and I will talk about that a bit more later in this video. You want to check Google Trends to see if your product is in an upwards or a downwards trend. And you want to use ChatGPT to ask about your total addressable market when it comes to your location. Let's say, for example, you sell products in the Netherlands, right? And you sell a very, very specific type of product, like, I don't know, orthopedic sandals, right? That's pretty specific. The total addressable market might not be as big as you expect. So if you have a goal that you want to run Google Ads and you want to generate 300K a month, the total addressable market might just not be enough, right? So you need to look into other markets or more products. So the total addressable market is important to do your research on. Then when it comes to the pricing, you want to check what your competitors are priced at. And obviously with your supplier, you want to make sure that you have significant profit so you can reinvest the profit in your company, right? So when it comes to Google Ads Transparency Center, we always suggest our clients to look into that tool because that's basically the Facebook ads library, but then for Google Ads. So you can just type in your competitors, see what products they're advertising, see what their ad copy is looking like, etc., etc. And based on that, you can maybe visit their websites and see what they are doing, right? Besides that, you can just use a VPN or you can use iSearch From to put yourself in another location, go into incognito and search your real world search queries to figure out which competitors are bidding on specific keywords, which you found out thanks to the Google Ads Keyword Planner. And then you can just analyze their data, analyze their website and see if you can improve something. And also you have to, obviously, as I said, make sure that you have the right pricing, that you aren't priced, 2 times as much as all your competitors because people probably won't want to buy a product from you specifically then. When it comes to your profits, you want to have significant profit to reinvest in your company. So look into your cost of goods sold. Maybe you can get high quality for a lower price. You have to look into your delivery. And that also helps with your conversion rate, which we will get into later. But make sure that you take on the delivery cost up until a certain point, maybe. Make sure you have low transaction costs, so look into payment providing. And this is also where you can use ChatGPT to make sure you get the most profit per order, right? So you can reinvest the most. And then when it comes to scalability, you want to make sure that your brand is something that people are happy about. So when it comes to delivery, you want to have custom packaging, you want to have good quality, so make sure you do your quality checks. You want to make sure that your customers are satisfied. So if you, I don't know, ship orders and it takes a little bit longer than expected, maybe give them a discount code, give them something for free, and just communicate, maybe even over communicate instead of under communicate, right? And you have to look into customer lifetime value and average order value, because the higher your lifetime value and the higher your average order value, the more you can spend to acquire a customer, and the more cash flow you have, the more you will win from your competitors, which is pretty obvious, but it sounds like it's very important. When it comes to your website, I got an example here from our friends from Icon Amsterdam, because they really nailed the conversion rate optimization process, right? So I'm going to walk you through a couple topics that are essential to have on your product page. If you have a sale, you want to make sure that you show that you have the sale in euros, that you have a compare price, that it's like very clear that there's a sale going on, because people love sales, right? Then we have the color here, a size finder, so people are getting the right size, which is also important for refunds and returns. And we got another tip here, also for the sizing guide, right? So sizing is very important, especially in fashion, to make sure that you don't have too many returns. Then they're calling out a couple USPs, so they have a 14-day money-back guarantee right here. It's in stock and ready to ship, which is nice for people. It gets people over the line to purchase as well. And then if you order before 11 p.m., your order gets shipped today, which is also nice, and it creates some sense of urgency. We have the add to cart, save payment buttons, then a clear description, more shipping info, more info about the returns, then more social proof right here about famous people and 215,000 others who are wearing this specific brand. And then we got some branding topics here as well. Then this aspect is for increasing your average order value. We have some more USPs here. And then we have some more social proof here, because Icon Amsterdam really creates a community of people, right? Sometimes we also suggest to not just use this part here for the social proof, but also to include a star system between, let's say, the title and the colors, or between the add to cart button, right? So you probably want to have here that you have your 5-star reviews and how many reviews you have, because people will probably be happy to see that there are other happy people, that there are other people happy with their order that they got already. So that's the product page. When it comes to accounts and apps, there are a couple things that you need. And I'm just going to assume that you have Shopify, right? If you don't have Shopify, this works slightly different. There are tons of videos on YouTube that you can check for it. But most people are using Shopify, so we will use Shopify as the example. So you need Shopify, obviously. You need feed tools, either Google and YouTube app, which is free, either SimProcess, which is paid, or multi-feeds if you want to advertise in multiple countries, in multiple currencies, and generate custom feeds, right? So it's like ascending or descending for how complicated your feed structure has to be. If it's just one country, one currency, use the Google and YouTube app, because that's the most easy to set up and it's free as well. Then you need a Google Merchant Center account. The Google Merchant Center account is basically where you host your products. So you send your products from Shopify with the feed management tool app to Google Merchant Center, and with Google Ads, the actual Google Ads account, you advertise the products. So you connect Google Merchant Center with Google Ads account, and then you can advertise all your products. When it comes to your Google Ads account specifically, what you want to do is go into ads.google.com, and I included a link right here, to get a free ad credit. So if you don't have an account yet, I would always suggest, depending on how much you want to spend, to go for offer B, which is spend 1,200 and get 800, or offer C, which is spend 2,400 and get 1,200 within the first 60 days. So you'll probably hit that. those are all the accounts that you need, right? And how you actually set it up is very easy. If you use the Google and YouTube app, it automatically connects all the accounts. The only thing that you have to be on the lookout for is that you create the Google Ads account with the link right here, or go to ads.google.com, because then and only then you can sign up for the credit offer, right? When it comes to your conversion tracking, this is probably one of the most important things when it comes to Google Ads. The thing with conversion tracking is, as I said at the beginning of the video, Google uses something called smart bidding, which is an AI-powered bidding strategy where you basically tell Google and tell Google's AI that you want to focus on specific customers that are giving a specific return. But every Google Ads account starts basically at 0 when it comes to the Google Ads data and the Google Ads algorithm as well. So what you want to have is send the best and the most clear and the most data to your Google Ads account, so your account can get smarter over time, and that way you can have better smart bidding than your competitors, for example. When it comes to conversion tracking, what you want to have is something called server-side tracking. So you have the regular way, which is client-side tracking, and you have the best way, which is server-side tracking. The difference here is with client-side tracking, the conversions are sometimes not tracked due to ad blockers, cookie blockers, and Safari, for example. So use this as secondary, which is automatically set up if you connect the Google and YouTube app, which is really easy. So use this, but use server-side tracking as your primary conversion action. And there are lots of tools that you can use for server-side tracking. What we always suggest is either Profit Metrics, WeTracked, or TrackBee, depending on the amount of orders, the pricing plan that you want to have, so look into it yourself. And then when it comes to your overall business decisions, you want to use Triple Wheel, because Triple Wheel, if you use multiple ad platforms, really attributes the right conversions to the right ad platforms. And the ad platforms themselves, they over attribute. They say that they're getting more conversions than if you in reality would add those conversions up. They wouldn't make sense, right? So use Triple Wheel for your attribution. And here we got a short overview of how those tools work, right? So people purchase, for example, and we have this tool right here called TrackBee, and it sends the server-side tracking data back to the Google Ads accounts and the other ad accounts as well. The same goes for Profit Metrics. The thing is with Profit Metrics that you have the ability to bid on profit instead of revenue at some point, which might be very interesting to look at. And this is also one of the 12 bonus tools that I want to share with you by the end of the video. So stay tuned for that, right? When it comes to your keywords, this together with conversion tracking and some other parts are very, very essential when it comes to your Google Ads campaigns. So what you are looking for when it comes to keywords is you want to have exact buying intent. So buy blue light glasses, for example. You want to have long tail keywords to be on the lookout for, because those have lower competition and higher ROAS generally, because it's very specific. You want to look into rising trends, and you want to look for keywords with low CPC and high conversion potential. And besides that all, you want to check your competitor terms. So maybe you want to bid on a competitor brand name, because those are just easy wins, good impressions, and there's a very high likelihood that those people will convert on your webpage as well. So the tools that I was talking about are Google Trends, Google Keyword Planner, SEMrush, and Answer the Public. Those are the most essential tools when it comes to keyword research. So in Google Trends, you probably want to look into an upwards trend, right? So we search, for example, here tank top, and we see a beautiful upwards trend from February. So if it's February, that would probably be a good time to start selling tank tops. And Google Trends is a free tool, so you can just use it and figure out if your product is in an upwards trend, yes or no, right? How it works is you use it to validate trends and seasonality. So you search your product or niche, for example, compression socks. You switch to your target country, you view the trend over 12 months, and you can alternatively compare it with alternate keywords, right? So check the keywords and use the keyword that is in an upwards trend. So look for rising interest, seasonal dips and spikes, and regional breakout. So to target specific locations. Let's say, for example, you're in the US, specific states have other trends, right? So you want to look into that. When it comes to Google Ads Keyword Planner, this is generally the tool that we use for our brands. And you have paid tools, but this free tool that Google provides is pretty accurate. So especially if you're a starter, just use Google Ads Keyword Planner, do your keyword research with that because it works perfectly fine. I've also searched the keyword tank top in this example right here. And also here we can see that from February, the upward trend starts, right? And here we cannot just see the trend, we can also see the exact volumes per month. So for example, we have tank top, which gets on average like 10,000 monthly searches, which is sufficient to advertise products on. That's how it looks like. You can just access it within your Google Ads account. So you go to Tools, you go to Google Ads Keyword Planner, and then you type in your keyword. So you can use keyword ideas, or you can drop in your URL, and Google will crawl your page and spit out keywords that are very relevant for your business, right? This is the best tool for volume, CPC, and intent research. So go to discover new keywords, enter your category, filter by country and language, sort by highest volume and lowest CPC. And that's also what you want to look for. High volume, low CPC, and purchase intent. Pick some long tail keywords as well, because those are generally lower in CPC and can contain a high ROAS. And you want to use variants with strong buyer intent. So buy certain glasses, best tank top for in the summer, whatever. You get the point. Then when it comes to SEMrush and Answer the Public, those are just tools. SEMrush is a bit more complicated. It's a paid tool as well, but you can play around with it to get even more insights on specific volumes. So right here, we got the Gymshark example with the volumes, the CPCs, the traffic that people are getting, etc., right? So use this for competitor keyword spying. Enter a competitor's domain, go to advertising research, look at their paid keywords on their advertising research, and then use the underrated keywords competitors are ranking for, branded keywords they are paying for, and terms they bid on, but you don't bid on yet. When it comes to Answer the Public, this is very good for researching long tail keywords. So this is literally what people are searching for on Google, because some people type in questions, and if you can answer the questions that people are typing in with your product or with the solution that your product provides, that's a very interesting way to get in new conversions and new customers, right? So Answer the Public, great for question-based long tail keywords. You can search your product category, let it generate questions, comparisons, and prepositions. Use keywords like what's the best X for Y, X versus Y, and where to buy X in Z, right? You want to look for long tail conversational keywords. You want to use those maybe for blog articles, top of funnel ads, advertorial ads, and those are actually great and ideal for advertorial campaigns, which is also one of the bonus tools that I will talk you into by the end of the video. Those are all the tools that we generally use for keywords, and in general I would say pick between 5 and 20 keywords per product or product category that you want to focus on, because otherwise it becomes too much. So pick something very specific with purchase intent, specifically what you are buying, and then you want to use those keywords to bid on in your search ads, and you want to use those keywords in your product feed. Which brings me to the following. The product feed is, for the shopping placement, the most important thing within Google Ads. So what you are looking for is clean, keyword-rich titles with the keywords that you researched in the previous step. You want to have descriptions that sell and clarify the product. You want to have high-quality images for shopping CTR, GTINs, or barcodes to unlock Google shopping enhancements. So Google will connect GTINs to each other. You want to use additional attributes for better matching, so color, size, gender, age group, and you want to add reviews. Always integrate reviews, and we always use, or we generally recommend to use a tool like Looks, which is also included in this entire board. So this is a very good example that I actually created on what a bad product feed example looks like and what a good product feed example looks like. So as we can see here, the worst image that you could have ever gotten. This is a great lifestyle image that really showcases the product and basically boosts the value of the product as well. This is the worst title that you could probably type in, shirt M, because it's a specific tank top. There are no keywords in there, no information whatsoever. So you want to include all the information that you have on the product that's also keyword related, right? So for example, instead of shirt M, you say Prada white tank top for men, size M, designer, 100% cotton undershirt. Pricing is the same. You get your brand name right here. Here it says Prada official. You get your reviews right here. And this thing is used in the EU and it's called a CSS partner, which is also one of the bonus tools. But using a CSS partner can give you 20% discount on all your shopping clicks, which can be very interesting to look into as well, right? So again, bad product feed example, bad title, bad description, bad image, brand name, cheat in missing, and missing attributes. And on a good example, we have everything, right? We have the title, we have the description, we have the image, we have the brand, we have the GTIN, we have all the attributes, color, gender, age group, size M, material, and even the reviews, as we can see right here. And I won't get into this too much. I think it's pretty obvious that this one will win the click, even though the pricing is the same. But just like I'm exaggerating. So just look at the example and make sure that you are on the right side of this spectrum, right? This duo spectrum. Cool. So those are pretty much the fundamentals when it comes to your Google Ads account. So make sure you have a good product, a product market fit, upwards trends, good volumes. You make sure that you are making a profit on every order, you're priced right, and you're scalable. So make sure that your clients, your customers are actually happy with the things that you ship to them. And then make sure your website is on point as well with all the topics that I mentioned. We also want to use certain accounts. So we need Shopify, we need a fee tool, we need Google Merchant Center and a Google Ads account. We need proper conversion tracking. And I would always recommend to use a server-side tracking solution like Profit Metrics or TrackB for your conversion tracking specifically. Set those conversion actions to primary and then use the client-side tracking, which is automatically set up within the Google and YouTube app as a secondary conversion, just as a backup. When it comes to the keywords, use tools like Google Trends, Google Keyword Planner, SEMrush, and Answer the Public to pick between 5 and 20 of the best keywords. And then if you got those keywords, optimize your product feed with them. Make sure your product feed is on point with the reviews, the CSS partner, the titles, and all the other attributes. And if you fixed all of this, we can get into the actual campaign structure, what campaign types we have, and what the base structure of your account will look like. All right, let's get into the campaign structure and budgeting part of this scaling map, right? So we have a couple essential campaign types that I want to walk you through. And after that, I'll tell you the exact Google Ads base structure that any e-commerce brand should use as a starting point for their Google Ads account. So the essential campaign types are basically search, shopping, performance max, display, demand gen, and YouTube. And some speak for themselves while others don't. So let me just walk you through them, yeah? Okay, so this is an example of a search ad, which basically works as follows. A searcher searches a keyword, so for example, white tank top man. Google triggers your search ad if your keyword matches. The user sees your ad, so that's like a headline, description, maybe some site links, so extra links that you can put in your search ad, some logo here and your brand name right there. The user clicks and then lands on your dedicated landing page, and then the conversion happens. So that's search ads. Key parts to build search ads are keywords, obviously, which we already researched in the last step. Then we want to have compelling ad copy, which is clear, relevant, and speaks to intent. Then we want to have ad extensions like site links or prices, callouts, structured snippets. And after that, we need a landing page, a product page, if you will, that is fast, relevant, mobile friendly, and uses all the conversion rate principles that I told you about earlier in the video. You use this with high intent search terms, so buy now, comparing, whatever. And within this campaign type, you have a lot of control over your funnel. So you have control over your keywords, your ad copy, and your landing. And depending on how warm a user is, which you can read off of their search query, you can match what kind of ad and what kind of landing page you want to put behind that, right? And it's great for scaling evergreen bestsellers. Because if somebody searches for a very specific product and it's evergreen, you can use a search campaign to leave always on at the smart bidding, which I will talk to you about later in this video. And then you can make this really scalable. Because even though people in e-commerce generally focus on shopping ads, search ads are still very important, and we use it for all of our branding clients. When it comes to Google Shopping, those are the product listings at the top of the page within Google Ads if somebody is looking for a specific product. And right here, as I covered earlier, we want to have an optimized product feed, because the product feed is where Google bases the keywords on. So you do not target any specific keywords. Google uses your product feed to determine if a search query is relevant, yes or no. So a user searches a product-related keyword, so for example, the white designer tank top. Google matches your query with your product feed. Then a shopping ad shows your product listing, image, title, price, store, etc. Then a user clicks and then the conversion happens. So the key parts to build here is obviously the product feed, title, description, image, price, availability, with extra attributes, so promotions, reviews, all the other attributes that I told you about earlier. We want to have the best image. We want to A/B test maybe with some images, so high quality, clean, preferably lifestyle, but we can also use a white background image. If it comes to the product page, you want to have it relevant, fast, and including all info. And when it comes to the targeting, it's based on product data, not keywords, right? So make sure your product data is right. And you use this for literally e-commerce products with the visual appeal, clear purchase or intent queries. And you use this if you have the need to dominate comparison shopping. And as I said earlier, you want to make sure that you are winning that comparison battle. So if somebody is looking for a product specifically and you sell the exact same product as your competitor, you want to make sure that you are priced competitively as well, because otherwise the person will just click on your competitor, right? So those are shopping ads. Then we have something called Performance Max, which is a all-in-one campaign type from Google Ads. And it is very interesting because the AI power behind this specific campaign type is the best of all campaign types, in my opinion. But Performance Max generally limits you to do certain things, like excluding keywords, excluding placements, optimizing towards a certain product or whatever. Performance Max is a very easy to set up campaign type, but usually Google takes control, and that might not be the best, right? So you might just be burning money on keywords and placements that you don't want to show up on. But how it works is you give Google inputs, so creative assets, audience signals, and a feed, which is optional. Then Google automatically creates ads and decides placements across all networks. And bids and placements are optimized in real time for your goal, so conversions or conversion value. The three flavors of Performance Max that we have are a full build Performance Max, which is what it's meant to be from out Google. We have a feed only, so that is just the product listings, right? Which is both the shopping results on the search engine result page and also dynamic remarketing, which can be very powerful. And then we have something called a no feed Performance Max campaign, which might be interesting for lead gen, service, or non-product. But we use no feed Performance Max as well to discover basically specific search queries and give Google a bit of the power to determine which user looks for which product. And then Google determines also where the person lands. So that might be an interesting way as well. When it comes to the full build Performance Max, you basically give everything to Google. So the feed, headlines, descriptions, images, logos, video, or Google auto-generates. So make sure you use an actual video in there. And you want to provide audience signals. So it's basically targeting, but it's a targeting advice to Google. It goes into all placements and you have zero control, and it might be useful, but we generally use Performance Max feed only for our clients and only full build in very specific cases. So the placements that the full build campaigns go on is search, shopping, display, YouTube, Gmail, and discovery, which is basically everything. The pros for this is you have the broadest reach, ideal for new accounts or small budgets, and it's very easy to launch fast. But we have zero control. Attribution and insight is a black box, and we do have a fix for that, which is also one of the bonus tools. But it's generally a black box, and optimization can be quite hard. And it often wastes spend on unqualified traffic or unbranded traffic, where you'll basically overpay for people who were already planning to visit your website, right? But it's best for brands that want to scale fast and are okay with low control, testing a new product or vertical quickly, and spending a lot without knowing what you will get back, which sounds suboptimal for me. And that's also the reason why we generally use feed-only Performance Max, which is basically shopping ads on steroids. What you need here is a product feed, no creative assets. So while setting up this campaign, just give the product feed and then click through, yeah? And you can provide audience signals if necessary. The placements are generally Google Shopping, and if you set it up wrong, you get some search as well. So we want to exclude all final URL expansions and automatically created assets to make sure we don't get the search. And it rarely touches YouTube or display without assets, but it does go into remarketing with this product listing specifically. The pros here are it's pure focus on product performance. So you focus literally on what you want to sell, which is you are an e-commerce company, you want to sell your products. You have a bit tighter targeting than full build because it doesn't go into all these placements like display, discover, whatever. So it's tighter targeting than full build, and it's very useful when you have a strong product feed, which is why your product feed is essential. When it comes to the cons, you don't have any creative testing, still limited visibility, which we do have a fix for, but it doesn't get any full channel coverage. But it shouldn't be too big of a problem, right? But this is best for brands with excellent product feed structure and a very clear buying intent, so fashion, supplements, or any direct-to-consumer e-commerce brand whatsoever. Besides the feed only and the full build, we also sometimes use something called a no-feed PMax, where you basically give everything except for the feed, and you force Performance Max to go into the other placements, like the display, but also like search. And if you give a little bit more control to Google, you might just get your golden nuggets, like long-tail keywords you didn't even know existed, or landing pages that are converting really well that you wouldn't think of by yourself, right? So the placements that one goes into is search, display, YouTube, discovery, Gmail, and then not shopping. The pros is it's smart for service-based or non-e-com brands, and it forces PMax to behave like something called a dynamic search ad and a display hybrid. We do use this for e-commerce brands though, so it might be interesting to look into that yourself. The cons are it's still hard to interpret results, so you have to be, ready to spend without getting anything in return. And the asset quality matters a lot. So if you have shitty landing pages and shitty creative assets, you're not going to get any conversions. And this is best for info products, lead gen, or digital services, brands without Google Merchant Center, and giving Google's AI the power of your non-shopping placements, which might be interesting for e-commerce as well, again. There's one very important note to be made here, which is always exclude your brand from Performance Max, because Performance Max generally goes after the easiest conversions, the easiest sales to generate, right? And if somebody's looking for your brand name specifically, there's a very high likelihood that that person wants to buy something from your brand specifically. But if you don't exclude your brand from Performance Max, Google will highly overspend on any click that comes from your branded traffic. And it also inflates your results because there's a very high likelihood that the person who is looking for your brand would end up buying at your store even if you weren't spending on your own brand name. And it gives you zero control if you still target brand within your Performance Max campaign. So always exclude your brand from Performance Max and then set up a branded shopping campaign, which is also one of the bonus tools, and a branded search campaign, which is very easy to set up to cover that traffic on a very low budget and controlled CPC. Yeah. Then we have a display campaign, which is basically on the display network on Google, right? So we have, for example, weather.com, and we have these ads right here, which is all Google display ads. And I'm sure you've seen them. Those are display ads, right? And they can be for e-commerce, they can be for lead gen as well. But this is how it looks like. You upload visual assets, you choose your targeting, Google places your ad across millions of websites, apps, and Gmail. And I would always exclude the apps, so make sure to do that as well. And you get the impressions, clicks, and conversions afterwards. So the main use cases are as follows. We have remarketing, static or dynamic. So it shows your ads to people who already visited your website, right? So maybe somebody looked for a product that you are selling, was on your website but didn't purchase. You can remarket those visitors with your specific ad or your specific product by using display ads. So that might be very interesting as well. And the tips here are use time-based audiences, so 1 day, 3 day, 7 day, and 30 day, including urgency in the ad copy or the ad creative, and combining it with cart abandoners for killer retargeting. And those convert at a very high percentage. When it comes to dynamic product display ads, is basically where you set up a campaign, attach a feed, attach nothing else, and then the campaign will go into product remarketing, which is basically person visits product page, person leaves, and then the person sees your product. Just like the example right here. Just like the example right here, it sees your product like this. This is a dynamic display ad. So that might be interesting to look into as well. Again, it's very easy to set up. It's ultra personalized, so you get a better ROAS. And the tips here are to optimize product titles, exclude low performance, and test against static display. If you have a lot of products, this is what we would recommend, and not using the static ones, because those would probably take a long time to create, right? When it comes to prospecting, we can use display for a top of funnel campaign type as well. So what it does, it targets cold audiences based on interest, demographic, placements, or lookalikes. And the targeting options are in-market audiences, custom intent, placements, topics, or similar audiences, right? Why it works is you have massive reach, so you get a lot of brand awareness. Maybe somebody is going to look for your brand afterwards, so you see a brand uplift. So that might be interesting to look into, but again here, don't be expecting a very high ROI from this specific campaign type, so only use it for awareness and be ready to lose your money on the short term. The tips here is to always separate remarketing from top of funnel, obviously, to test multiple creatives per ad group, and to include very strong hooks. The common pitfalls here, this is very important, no exclusions. So turn off optimized targeting. You don't want to target any wasteful placements, and turn off app placements as well. You want to have a good creative. So a pitfall here should be that if you have a bad creative, you have a problem. And you don't want to have too many overlapping audiences, because that will basically cannibalize your account. Yeah. Then, besides display, there's some new campaign type that's called demand gen. And demand gen is basically what Performance Max is for bottom of funnel campaigns. Demand gen is for top of funnel and remarketing campaigns. So demand gen appears on Google Ads, on YouTube InStream, YouTube Shorts, interesting, YouTube InFeed, Google Discover, and Gmail. So those are the placements that they can land on. And demand gen is basically a meta ads type of campaign, but then within Google Ads, right? So a hybrid visual campaign designed for scrollable placements like YouTube Shorts, YouTube Home, Gmail, and Discover. So again, it's basically meta ads, but then inside Google. So it might be very interesting to test your meta creatives on the demand gen campaign. How it works is as follows. You upload the assets, headlines, descriptions, products, images, videos, logos. You choose your audience targeting, lookalike, for example, or retargeting, or in-market, right? Then you let Google auto-generate combinations of assets across the placements, and your ads show natively like posts in feeds, so those drive clicks to your landing and product pages. The main use cases here are top of funnel prospecting, where the goal is to get in front of new cold audiences with scroll stopping visuals. And what we would always recommend is to use creatives that are already working on meta, because YouTube and demand gen isn't a platform for testing, it's a platform for expanding. And that's very important to keep in mind, right? You can use it for remarketing purposes as well, to re-engage people who viewed your products but didn't buy. With high intent, the visual reminder increases CTR and gives your ROAS a boost. And you can use YouTube Shorts boosting. So again, YouTube Shorts is a very interesting placement. You want to use it as an expansion platform, and then basically get more impressions on your very specific target audience. So you can also upload YouTube Shorts videos to demand gen and push them out as ads with native appearance. So it works well for product reviews, founder talking to camera, before after demos, and scroll stopping user generated content. Pitfalls to avoid is to reuse static display banners, right? Because they don't fit the native feed. We want to use Facebook type formats, so the square images or the landscapes or the vertical images. We want to know that 99% is mobile feed based, so optimized for mobile. We don't want to use too many overlapping audiences with Performance Max, and we always have to launch with a good creative, right? So when to use demand gen is to diversify traffic beyond search and shopping, already have great visuals, so images or UGC. You want to create meta style campaign inside of Google, and it's perfect for dropshipping, fashion, lifestyle, gadgets, and basically any e-commerce brand that has a visual look. And then lastly, we have YouTube. And as I said at the beginning of the video as well, YouTube is a part of Google, and Google is really, really expanding Google Ads into the YouTube placements. So YouTube is something that you probably want to look into, because you are probably on YouTube yourself, right? So how they work are, they are video-based ads that run before, during, or around YouTube videos, often skippable and always clickable. So you upload your video ad to your YouTube channel, you create a campaign in Google Ads, you add your landing page URL, you choose your audience targeting, Google places your ad, and then you get the same process as always, which is click, viewer lands on your website, and you get the conversion. That's how they work. And we can see it here in an example how it works for e-commerce. If you set it up right, you can use the product feed in the YouTube placements as well, which might be very interesting to look into as well. The YouTube ad formats to use are skippable in-stream, so shows before or during other videos, YouTube Shorts in-feed, or in-feed discovery, and that appears on the YouTube homepage page and search, right? Then we have some best practices here. So the creative best practices is the hook in the first couple seconds, because then people want to watch the rest of the video. Show your product being used, add captions or supers for silent viewers. Use a strong CTA overlay, so shop now, see offer, etc., and use a branded YouTube channel for trust. When it comes to the common mistakes, people are sometimes creating a video where they have a very boring intro and people will just skip, right? They don't use a CTA overlay or a good click as destination. The targeting is too broad and the videos are too long. So these are all points that you want to look into and make sure you aren't making these mistakes. But when to use Google YouTube ads is as follows. So if you have great visuals, use those to tell the story. If you're already using meta video ads, you can repurpose them on YouTube within demand gen or YouTube specifically. If you want to retarget engaged traffic with a higher ROAS, use YouTube. And if you want to scale brand awareness with a low CPM, use YouTube. The targeting options are custom intent, in-market audiences, remarketing, and video viewers, right? So those are pretty much the most important, the most essential campaign types for you to know. Search, shopping, manual, like choosing your specific placement. Performance Max, which is a hybrid, but we can force it to go into the shopping placements. Then we have display, good for remarketing or top of funnel traffic, as well as demand gen, same, good for remarketing and top of funnel traffic. And then we have YouTube specifically if you want to advertise videos. Now let's talk shortly about the campaign structure, right? So you want to separate the placements and the branded traffic from the non-branded traffic at the beginning of your account already, because you want to make your account as smart as possible, and you also want to get the most control out of your budget, right? So you want to spend the least amount of what you want to spend on branded traffic, with branded shopping and branded search, and you want to spend the majority of your budget on non-branded shopping and non-branded search, because you always want to focus on new customer acquisition. When it comes to the base structure, it is as follows. So I created this structure for you, which you can use to start up your Google Ads account. We have branded right here, and we have non-branded right here. And I got a segment here where it says campaign type, keywords, intent, budgeting, bidding strategy, setup, and the goal. So in total, the branded campaigns contain 10 to 20% of the budget, and the rest goes to non-branded. And that's the rule of thumb that I would use if I were you as well. So we have search branded and shopping branded, search non-branded and shopping non-branded. And I'll go over the campaign types now. So the branded search is for your brand name, right, and typos. The intent is very hot, so bottom of funnel. The budgeting is 5 to 10% of your total budget, and you start out with 50 to 100 euros in total. In terms of the bidding strategy, you want to use manual CPC or target impression share. I would generally go for manual CPC. Do your keyword research in the Google Ads Keyword Planner. See what the top of the page bid is looking like and bid that for your own brand name. And then later on, move into target impression share, where you want to show up at the absolute top of the page, right? Because it's your brand. When it comes to the setup, use only exact match and phrase match. Don't use broad match whatsoever. And the goal here is to defend your own brand and get in cheap conversions. When it comes to branded shopping, it's based on your feed, so you have to exclude all your non-branded terms if you want to make it into a branded shopping campaign. And there's a script that can do this for you, which is also included in the bonus tools at the end of the video. This also is a very hot, so bottom of funnel traffic, 5 to 10% of your total budget. You want to put this on max clicks, and if you have enough conversions, so 30 in 30 days, you want to shift into target ROAS bidding strategy with a high target ROAS. And in terms of the setup, as I said, it's max clicks with enough conversions shift into target ROAS. And here, make sure to exclude your non-branded terms. So I'll just write it right here. Exclude. Writing with the mouse is pretty tough, you know. So exclude your non-branded terms. Non-branded. And then the goal here is to retain existing traffic and maximize return on ad spend. When it comes to the non-branded campaigns, we have search and shopping. While search is product focus, category, and pain keywords, the shopping campaign is based on feed. So exclude your brand and check the search terms. They're both medium hot, medium warm. So search is warm to mid, so comparison and shopping intent. And shopping is specifically for price shoppers and people who are discovering specific products or solutions, right? For search, you want to use 30% of your total budget, and for shopping, 50% of your total budget. You want to start them both on max clicks, transition your shopping campaign into target ROAS as soon as possible, and target ROAS for search as well as soon as possible. You can segment your search by theme, so include keyword final URL. If you target URLs within Google Ads, you can pick, if you target keywords in Google Ads, you can pick which landing page connects to which keyword. So make sure to use that. It's called final URL. You can focus it on specific product pages. When it comes to shopping, you want to exclude your brand terms and then segment SKUs. So if you have a very good performing SKU, you want to scale that, but that's something to be used later, right? For now, this is the setup. The search is used to acquire new customers, and the shopping is used to scale cold traffic profitably. So in a nutshell, what you want to use for your Google Ads base structure is branded search, branded shopping, both 5 to 10% of your total budget on manual CPC and max clicks, and then your branded search and target impression share if you have enough cash flow. And the shopping campaign goes into a very high target ROAS afterwards. And when it comes to your non-branded campaigns, we have search and shopping. Search on 30% of the budget, shopping on 50% of the budget, both on max clicks to generate as much traffic as we can, and then turning it into target ROAS as soon as possible to focus on the revenue that you get on every euro spent within the account. So that's the Google Ads base structure. In the next card, we will cover exactly which structure suits which step of your e-commerce journey, right? So the campaign structure from 0 to 10K a month is very different than your campaign structure from, let's say, 100 to 250K a month. So let's cover those in the next card. All right, that brings us into the most tactical part of this scaling map, which is the actual optimization roadmap. And right now I'm going to tell you exactly how your campaign structure needs to look like in every stage that you are in, right? So your campaign structure obviously looks way different in the 0 to 10K a month range compared to, for example, the 100 to 250K a month mark. So let's just start. And as I told you just a minute ago, we need a base structure of branded and non-branded and search and shopping. And how I structured this optimization roadmap is basically where we talk about the campaign structure, the goals at the specific stage, the metrics to focus on, the actions to take, and how to break through this specific barrier, right? So let's dive right into it. When it comes to the campaign structure, we pretty much use the base structure that I already told you about. But here, just for a short reminder, we have branded search and branded shopping, and non-branded search and non-branded shopping. You want to focus your branded search on exact match to defend your name, 10% of the budget max, maximum CPC or target impression share. With branded shopping, you want to use your feed, obviously, to defend your name, 10% of the budget, and max clicks or target ROAS at some point. And you want to optimize this campaign, the branded shopping campaign, by excluding your non-branded terms, right? You want to use a non-branded search campaign as well for category, product, or pain keywords with 30% of your budget on max clicks or target ROAS if you have 30 conversion in 30 days. And then the most important campaign type for e-commerce specifically is non-branded shopping. So you want to use a clean feed, no branded keywords in there, so exclude your brand name, 50% of the budget, and then maximize clicks or target ROAS. That's your campaign structure, and we always recommend to use 50 to 100 euros spent per day at the beginning. If you don't have 100 a day, use at least 50. If you don't have 50 a day, use for other ways to generate cash flow before jumping into Google Ads, because in my opinion, you do need at least 50 euros a day to spend for between 2 and 3 months to generate good results within your Google Ads account, right? So that's the campaign structure that you want to use. The goals at this stage is to get your first consistent sales, so 5 to 10 sales a day maybe, to hit break even or even profitable ROAS, and identify the best performing components such as search terms, products, and audiences if they are visible. The metrics that you want to focus on are CTR, so you want to aim for a 2 to 5% CTR in search. Very relevant keywords is key here. And you want to optimize for a 0.5 to 1% CTR in shopping. When it comes to your CPC, lower is better, but not at the cost of volume or quality. So you want to optimize for the top of the page, which is a very specific CPC, which you can find in the Google Ads Keyword Planner, the tool that I told you earlier about. And just make sure that you use the right CPCs, right? When it comes to your search term report in both search and shopping, you need to be asking yourself, are we getting relevant traffic? Are these keywords the best keywords that I could target right now? Or are there even better keywords, right? And then you want to focus on the best ones. Looking at ROAS, you want to try to break even at this stage before scaling up the account more, unless you have a tremendous amount of cash flow and you can take the hits, right? But in general, I would say try to get break even ROAS 1.5x or 2x or better, and then move on to the next stage. The cost per conversion needs to be below your profit margin, obviously, to remain profitable. So that's what you want to focus on as well. And then when it comes to the actions, you want to fix low CTR and you want to fix your CPC. So improve ad copy, test responsive search ads, improve your product feed, etc., etc. You want to fix your feed issues if you have those, so disapprovals, make sure your titles are optimized, A/B test around with images to increase the CTR, and add GTIN codes if you have those. You want to optimize negative keywords as well, so kill all irrelevant traffic as soon as possible. You want to test some specific bidding strategies, so start out with max clicks, test target ROAS if enough data, and enough data is at least 30 conversions in 30 days, so a sale a day consistently at least. You want to troubleshoot, so check your URLs, make sure your conversion tracking works properly, and make sure your Google Merchant Center doesn't have any errors, because that will mess up your account data. You want to refine your targeting, so check your placements, check your locations, and check your device breakdown, and optimize based on the data that you see, right? It's all common sense, but these are the things that you need to be on the lookout for. How to break through 10K a month is as follows. Within your Google Ads account, you have to find winning products and find winning search terms as well. And once profitable, increase budgets on the winning components. So maybe get your winning products, try to spend more on those, get your winning keywords, try to get the focus on those keywords instead of the keywords that are costing you money, for example. And you basically want to focus your efforts towards the things that are giving you the most profit. Start segmenting your Performance Max into feed only with branded excluded, which is the next stage, which is how to break through the 10K a month mark, obviously. And stop thinking in test mode. So you want to shift to controlled scaling. If something works, use that, and then stop testing around too much, right? The two bonus tools used here are the CSS partner, which is the 20% discount on your shopping clicks. You want to use your branded shopping script to make sure you exclude any non-branded terms for your branded shopping campaign specifically. And you want to master your GMC in terms of your feed, but also in terms of your settings, your promotions, your refunds, everything. You want to make sure that your Google Merchant Center is set up for absolute success. So that's the 0 to 10K a month mark. And once you broke through 10K a month, then you move on to obviously 10 to 30K a month, right? The campaign structure here goes upwards to 300 euros spent a day. So if you have components that work, optimize, scale. And right here we are transitioning our non-branded shopping campaign, that's the most important change, into a non-branded Performance Max feed-only campaign. So looking at the campaign structure here, it's branded search, branded shopping, same. Non-branded search, same. And then a Performance Max feed only with 50% plus of your budget. This was previously standard shopping, so you have to transition into this campaign type. Disable the old one, enable this new one, and make sure to exclude brand, segment by product group on asset group level, spend 50% of your budget, and put the campaign on either maximize conversion value or target ROAS. Target ROAS does limit the campaign to spend, so I would say use maximize conversion value for the first 1 to 2 weeks, and then you can scale it from there, right? So that's how the campaign structure looks like to scale at least to 30K a month. And how that looks like in terms of the goals, metrics, actions, and the breakthroughs are: you want to scale profitably without collapsing ROAS. So identify and push hero products if you have those. You want to shift into controlled scaling, not test mode, as I said. Optimize search terms, products, and bidding, and establish predictable daily sales. And let me make a note here, right? So these campaign structures are based on all best practices and what we see work in all of our accounts. But Google Ads isn't a plug and play system. There isn't one campaign structure or one campaign type that works for any brand, because every piece of data and every account has a lot of variables, right? So you want to analyze all the account data for yourself and make data-driven optimizations and data-driven decisions as well. So if you have, for example, the Performance Max feed-only campaign, right, with all your products, say you have 100 products, and you see that like 5 products are generating the majority of the revenue, it would make way more sense to get those 5 products, put them in a separate Performance Max feed-only campaign, use a dedicated budget for your winners, and try to scale those products instead of the entire Performance Max feed-only campaign with all the products, because you want to generate more sales. And if those 5 products are generating more revenue and more profit, why wouldn't you scale those specifically, right? So all this advice, all this information has to be taken with a grain of salt, maybe even, because every account works differently. Every piece of data has a lot of variables, and you have to look at your own account and make your own decisions. But this will help you get a general understanding of what campaign types you can use in which stage, right? In terms of the metrics to focus on, ROAS, try to get it between 2.5, between 2.5 and 3.5. CTR, same. Make sure your budget is running efficient, so majority of your spend is going to your top 20% revenue driving products. And you want to get some Performance Max insights, because at this stage you are using Performance Max campaigns. And as I said at the beginning of this scaling map video, Performance Max usually gives us pretty bad insights, right? So we want to use a Performance Max Insights script, which is one of the bonus tools as well, which I will explain. But it's a script by Mike Rhodes. You can look it up for yourself. And it basically reveals the hidden data that Google is keeping from us. So that might be very interesting to look into. In terms of actions, we want to, besides the insight script, we want to use the labelizer script, the flow boost labelizer script specifically, which is also one of the bonus tools that we are using, to prioritize and allocate budgets per SKU type depending on their performance. So the labelizer script usually, or what the labelizer script does is it labels products based on their performance, so you can easily segment your winners from your losers and your untested products, right? So I want to use the labelizer here. You can use advertorial campaigns to reduce CPC and get high ROAS keywords. This should be ROAS. Review and optimize feed logic, including supplemental feeds and custom labels and labeling products based on, I don't know, profit margin or delivery or whatever, right? So you can optimize those. And when it comes to the ongoing optimizations, this is one that you use in pretty much every stage, but you want to optimize negative keywords, optimize the placements, optimize products, locations, extensions, etc. So those are the actions. Now, how to break through 30K a month is to scale Performance Max product groups individually. So look at the performance, well-performing products, scale those, add new product categories that convert, so adding similar products, right? Leverage feed management tools like, for example, Channable, automate more using scripts and rules, so the labelizers or ROAS filters or whatever. And if you do all of this, you will get a pretty mature account that will get you past the 30K a month mark, right? The bonus tools used here are the labelizer and the Performance Max Insights, and optionally advertorial campaigns, which is also one of the bonus tools that I will talk to you about later in the video. When you've passed the stage of 30K per month, congrats, you have reached at least 1K a day. And now we're gonna get to 100K a month. So how the campaign structure looks like here, up to 1K spend a day, is branded search, branded shopping, non-branded search. Then Performance Max, you wanna segment the Performance Max feed-only campaign in at least 3 campaign types. So the heroes, the high performance, zombies, low volume products, and the villains, so the bad performing products. And here's the budget breakdown. You can pause the video, use this as an indicator, depending on your budget, obviously. And this is also the stage, because as you can see, it's a pretty big step to go from 30 to 100K a month. So this is also the stage where it's pretty essential to use more top of funnel campaigns. So let's say demand gen for top of funnel and remarketing, and then advertorial campaigns to get in new customers who don't know your brand yet, or even the solution that your product provides, right? You want to use demand gen at 5 to 10% of your budget, so remarketing or lookalike or interest, just to test the waters. If it's going well, you can increase the budget, obviously. And when it comes to the advertorial search campaign, we want to target high intent keywords to a pre-sale page where we basically explain the product. We use 5 to 10% of our budget, and we set the bidding strategy to target ROAS or maximize conversions, right? The goals at this stage are to maintain scale without ROAS volatility. We want to maximize the lifetime value on top selling products, so upsell, cross-sell, whatever. We want to leverage new channels like demand gen, YouTube Shorts, display remarketing. We want to build systematic campaign structure, so performance segmentation based on the script. We want to use data-driven decisions to double down components or kill components depending how are they performing, right? The metrics to focus on: ROAS 2.5, 3x or 3.5x or better, depending on your profit margin, obviously. We want to optimize for a 2 to 3% CTR on search and a 0.5% to 1% CTR on shopping. And when it comes to budget efficiency, we want to get the majority of our spend to go to the top revenue driving products, as always. The actions to take here is to segment Performance Max by performance and exclude branded terms, obviously. Scale shopping, focus on the top 20% SKUs to refine bidding, so move to target ROAS as much as possible, which is the smart bidding strategy. And then improve feed quality, titles, images, pricing, promotions, reviews, A/B test around with it, yeah? Ongoing optimizations here are optimize negative keywords, placements, products, locations, extensions, etc. And if you want to break through the 100K a month mark, this is what you should do. So scale winning components, optimize medium components, and kill losing components. And what winning, medium, and losing means is different for any account. But let's say your winning components are generating the most clicks, the best revenue, and the best profitability. The medium components do have some potential, but need some optimization. And the losing components are costing you way more money than it delivers into the basket, right? So we want to kill those. And right here we can think keywords, images, site links, products, pages, locations, etc. So look at the data and optimize yourself. The new bonus tools used here are the Labelizer, Performance Max Insights, and advertorials if you haven't used those already in the last stage, right? Moving on to the next and final stage for us is the 100K a month mark on upwards to 250K a month and upwards. So this is where things get really interesting because as you can see, we have a lot of campaigns to work with, right? We have branded search, branded shopping still. We have non-branded search still, Performance Max feed only, heroes, zombies, villains, demand gen, advertorial search, and we added in YouTube ads, top of funnel. So again, you can pause the video to look at the budget breakdown and the bidding strategies. But this is the campaign structure that you usually want to work with if you have a campaign structure that spends 3K plus per day. And what you want to be on the lookout for is, again, that you optimize your account on your data. So if you have, let's say, a heroes campaign, and even within the Performance Max feed only heroes campaign, you have like 20% of those products that are delivering the majority of the revenue or profit, maybe you want to segment those as well. If you have specific categories that you want to play around with, maybe you want to segment those. So this is all your choice. But in general, this is what your campaign structure would look like. So use this as a base and optimize from there. The goals at this stage are to boost average order value and lifetime value through bundling, upsells, email, and SMS retention. And even though that's not within Google Ads, it does help with the results, obviously. Implement a product duplication strategy to scale what works. So say you sell tea, for example. Green tea. Green tea is good for detoxing, it's good for losing weight, it's good for boosting your metabolism, it's good for sleeping. Like, you have all these USPs that come with drinking green tea. And if you look at the keyword data, you'd probably see that people are looking for specific, detox tea or sleep teas or whatever. So what you want to do is use your hero products and duplicate those products and attach specific landing pages to the problem or solution that the product provides, right? To increase relevancy, to increase your search engine coverage, and that way you can really scale up your hero products. But this is also something that we will cover in the bonus tools. You want to defend your market share with competitor search ads, which you can add in as well. So if you have a big competitor and you know you have a better product, you can just legally bid on their branded terms. You can aggressively invest in top of funnel channels like YouTube, demand gen to feed the system. And here again, you'll see an uplift in your branded traffic, right? And your overall performance. And you want to tighten your operational backend. So attribution, server-side tracking, feed sync, landing page hero, analytics, and basically your team. The metrics that you want to focus on: ROAS, click-through rate, and budget efficiency, the same as the other stages. And for actions, you want to launch competitor-based search campaigns, create product clones for top sellers with different hooks, pages, or bundles, and you can transition optionally into profit on ad spend bidding instead of revenue on ad spend bidding or return on ad spend. And this is also, again, one of the bonus tools, but we use a tool called Profit Metrics for this. And that tool basically enables you to shoot the actual profit instead of the revenue back to Google, so you can focus on a target profit on ad spend instead of target revenue on ad spend bidding strategy, which is very advanced, very cool, and it's very effective as well. If you want to break through 250K a month, which we did with some clients, we want to build a full funnel performance team. So we do the Google ads, but we need to make sure that all channels are being utilized and that the entire website is running at a 10 out of 10 score. We want to expand it to new regions and currencies and languages. So if, for example, you are just advertising in, let's say, the Netherlands, Germany, and the UK, it might be interesting to look even into the US or the Australian market or other parts in Europe, right? So you want to expand because there's probably a bigger total addressable market to be reached beyond your current situation. You want to launch new hero products with proven frameworks. You want to systemize scaling with automation and delegation. Well, if you run an e-commerce brand yourself, you can, for example, delegate your Google ads to us, for example, or another agency for that matter. And you want to benchmark yourself against 8-figure brands to close the remaining gaps. So use the competitor insights that I told you about earlier. Use the tools, and I will get into this in the bonus tools as well a bit more extensively. But you want to see what the bigger brands are doing, and you want to basically try to crush them with even better components like creatives, offer, landing page, website, branding, and that way, and only that way, you can break through 250K a month. If you are at the stage where you are past 250K a month and you don't know what to do, you can contact us. We probably have some ideas and we can share them with you. But that's it for now. So those are the optimization. This was the optimization roadmap where we basically showed you every step there is to take to get you from 0 to 250K a month plus. And then you can probably take it from here. Yeah. Let me shortly brief you about outsourcing do's and don'ts, because this is also a very important topic. And as you can see, Google Ads can be very extensive. We have all these campaign types, we have all these bidding strategies, we have all these optimizations like the feed and the review integration and the server-side tracking and all the bonus tools that I will tell you about later. It can be a lot. So it might be interesting for you to outsource at least the Google Ads part so you can focus on growing your e-commerce brand throughout like more channels, a better team, and basically the operational stuff, right? Because that's something that you cannot outsource. So let me just talk you through when you should probably outsource your Google Ads, which is one, you've hit a ceiling doing everything yourself, so you have a lack of time. You're too busy running the business, managing operations, developing products, and paid traffic no longer gets the focus it needs to actually grow. You have the cash flow, so you have enough budget to scale and sustain campaigns, typically at least 3 to 5K a month in ad spend. And without this, you're still in testing mode, and there's no need to hand it off yet. When it comes to your proof of concept, you know your product has traction, it sells. You got at least one channel that brings in consistent revenue, and you're confident that your store converts, so 1% CVR plus. And your AOV can support all the paid traffic. And then, last but not least, you want to have a trustworthy media buyer to even outsource your Google Ads to, because you need someone who knows what they're doing, who's deep into Google Ads daily, literally 24/7, understands e-commerce, and isn't guessing with your budget. And if you don't have one, you probably need to find a specialist like Amplifize, like the team. If you are interested in outsourcing it to us, this is what it looks like, right? So we check the requirements. Are you getting consistent sales? Do you have the budget to grow? Can you handle an increase in orders operationally? If you have the requirements, we'll give you a free audit. So we'll assess your entire situation, We'll look into how your website looks like, how your product looks like, how your account looks like, and we basically go into your Google Ads account and Shopify backend and analyze everything. So are the campaigns profitable or just looking good? Is Google wasting your budget on branded terms or low quality traffic? What structure is missing to scale past your current level? And you'll get a straightforward breakdown of what's working, what's not, and how to fix it, even if you end up not working with us. You will get the custom growth blueprint. So we create a personalized, actionable blueprint for your brand, built around your product margin, your goals, your top performing SKUs, your current ad performance, etc., etc. And we will all cover this on an extensive strategy call. So once the blueprint's done, we will hop on a short call, no pressure, no pushy stuff. Just here's how we work, here's what we can do for you, here's what it would look like in terms of timeline and pricing, and then you decide to move forward or not. And then if you decide to move forward, we obviously have more packages because of your size, probably. Because we're not a one-size-fits-all agency. We tailor our offers to the size and stage of your business, so starter, full management, or performance-based deals. And every offer comes with very transparent pricing, clear expectations, and a defined path to profitable growth. If this is something that sounds appealing, so the full Google Ads blueprint, custom made for your brand, all free and no obligation, where we additionally give you the options to pick your own package if you want to work with us, you can apply for your free Google Ads custom blueprint right here. To go to our website, which is amplifize-marketing.com, or just scan this QR code with your phone. Yeah. Or just go around this video because I'll probably put a link somewhere. So if you want to get the Google Ads blueprint custom made for your brand, this is your time to sign up. And now let's move on to the bonus tools, right? As I said at the beginning of the video, we have bonus tools and we use those bonus tools for all of our clients. The thing is, this video would be made way too extensive if I would cover all the 12 bonus tools that we have to offer to get discount on clicks, to bid on profit, to labelize our products, to run a branded shopping campaign, to duplicate the product specifically, to use a shopping feeder strategy, to put your account on steroids, to get actual competitor insights. I'll give you the negative keyword base list that we use internally. I'll tell you about advertorial campaigns. I'll tell you about YouTube Shorts campaigns specifically and how you can make them work for your brand. And I'm going to talk about POAS bidding, so profit on ad spend bidding. If you are interested in that, if you want to get access to all these bonus tools for free, all you have to do as an e-commerce brand owner is to book in the call with me, because every call that has been booked will get access to this entire bonus module of 12 subjects where I will literally tell you everything there is to know that will get you from a regular to a pro when it comes to your Google Ads account. So if you're interested in that, book a call here. You get the free blueprint and you'll get 12 bonus tools. So you basically have nothing to lose. And even if we end up not working together, you can just leave with all the value that I give to you, right? So that's it for today. I want to thank you so much for watching this entire video. It was a long ride. If you have any questions, just shoot me a message on Instagram or drop them below this video. And let's keep in touch. I wish you the best when it comes to Google Ads. And again, if you book the call, we will create a custom blueprint for you and you'll get access to the bonus modules, the 12 tools that we use to professionalize all of our accounts. For now, I want to wish you a very good day and I hope to see you on our discovery call.